Okay, every one of you has a filter stage. The filter stage is the moment that marketing to sales does a handoff, and sales decides if they're going to progress it or not. Does that make sense to everybody? So like for us, we'll do an intro call, and we'll qualify someone before it goes to a proposal or a strat call, or a discovery. If you're in like SaaS, you might use it called like a disco call, right? There's this moment of filtering when an SDR maybe hops on before it goes to an AE or whatever it is. And make sure you stop sending your good leads to SDRs. Who here is still doing that? Please stop, okay? Don't do that. Like have separate lead routing. So if you got something that's really worth something, send it to reps that are good at making money. Can't tell you how often I see it, but it's a big problem. But once you get in here, start to master your filter stage. It's not just your LTV CAC ratio. LTV CAC is great, but many of us in this room are currently focused on decreasing CAC. But if you're decreasing CAC, I guarantee you you're decreasing LTV. This is not B2C. We're not selling widgets and we don't need more volume. Your most expensive customer is often your most valuable customer. If you pursue lowering CAC, you are going to subconsciously lower LTV and not even realize it. Universally, your most expensive customers are your most valuable customers because everyone else is spending on them. The way customer acquisition works now, it's an auction. So when you're competing for a persona, especially in social media advertising, you're in an auction-based environment. That means I'm not just competing with other agencies if I want to get your business. I'm competing with every other vendor in the world who has you as a persona, and that's driving up the CPM. Okay, so your competitors in advertising are not your direct competitors. It's everyone in the world who's trying to reach that same persona. For example, convo ads, your persona can only receive one every 30 days. How willing are you to be the person who gets into their inbox? Because the person who spends the most gets into the inbox. There's nothing more expensive than being cheap. Okay, so your CAC isn't actually your goal when you're doing this. It's to throw out the bathwater and leave the baby in the tub. Your best campaigns, when you get good at this, are going to still have waste. The same campaign that gets me my dream account gets me 10 of my worst accounts at the exact same time. Once you get good at this, there's no perfect campaign. So what we have to do is keep slicing it. I want you to be able to see, okay, well, that campaign works as long as the head count's over 50. If the head count's under 50, we're going to delete that segment of the campaign, but not pause the campaign. The key isn't pausing the campaign, it's removing the waste from the campaign and just continually optimizing it. And this viewpoint will start to help you see what's working and what's not in those different areas. We use first touch attribution on HubSpot. I don't have some crazy tool. I don't need some crazy tool. I've had Visible. I've had different softwares. I've built my own models. I just want to know what got someone from apathy to action. What made someone hear about my brand and take an action. Now, I can still run U-based, position-based, last touch, and I can look at all the different models, but when you're doing your modeling, use first touch because it's a much healthier understanding of when you spend your money, what do you get from it? Because I want direct. I like the other pieces for analysis. I don't like them for modeling. Those are two separate concepts, okay? So modeling, I want to know when I allocate my money, does it get me net new? Does that make sense to everybody? Because I need to get net new from net new money. When I'm doing analysis, in other words, I don't necessarily pause something because it's not driving first touch, but I want to know how much to spend on it based on first touch. Those are two different things. In other words, analysis, I'm going to use multiple attribution models. Modeling standpoint, just to do my capital allocation, I'm going to try to do on first touch, and then I'm going to still layer it to make sure my hypotheses are correct.